Alright, now good to go.
Should I start or should we wait for time? She said she's not. Let's go. 10. It's 10. Hello, everybody. The woman before me had this nice introduction, so I'm going to introduce myself. But my name is Amy Dufault, and I'm a sustainable fashion writer and consultant and activist as of last year. And I started the Tailor project as a kind of a fashion fast this year, so I've given up buying clothes and jewelry and shoes for 1 year. And you know how I started with this idea of the Tailor project was because of many of these lovely images I have. And you know, when we started with this other speaker before us, the lights were on. The lights came down, and I was hoping something a lot better was going to happen for you guys when I turned the lights down. But instead, we're going to delve into the depths of fast fashion and gloom and doom. But I'll pull you out, hopefully, by the end. So, as a sustainable fashion writer, which I've been doing for 10 years, a journalist for 20. You know, when I first started writing about sustainable fashion, it was all about wonderful designers doing awesome things and trends, market, you know, all the positives. And then as I kind of moved on, I've kind of evolved and been pegged as the girl who writes about manufacturing and all the horrible things that happened. So let me dive into this world of beauty here. So some of the things that I write about are, you know, garment factory disasters worldwide, and this was the Tazreen factory fire that was last year. And as you know, as I was putting this together, I was having all these images like these are so bad, but anyways, well, we'll get to there. So, you know, I write about rivers being polluted in China that are different colors based on the trends of the year, and fast fashion doing its work on nature. I write about wonderful fast fashion chains that are recruiting teens to shop and do fast fashion hauls where they get to show 72,000 videos about what they've purchased with $200 that somebody like Forever 21 has given them. And even though they're not going to wear it, what they are, you know, excited about to show you on their videos. So really, fast fashion chains using teenagers and exploiting them in ways that are pretty gross and make me crazy. This was the Bangladesh garment factory disaster last April, and this was kind of like a kickoff point for me that changed everything. I was writing at that time for Ecoterra, and I write for The Guardian and Ecoterra. And so I was writing for Ecoterra and talking to a lot of my sustainable fashion friends who were writers and designers, and we just couldn't get over that this had happened to over 1,100 people that were killed in this garment factory. Knowing, you know, the people knowing that this building was probably going to collapse if the people came in, and when the garment workers walked in or they weren't going to get paid, which meant the end of their lives really, and they started up their sewing machines, and the hum of the sewing machines and vibrated the floors, this is what happened. And they found a lot of different labels in here that were from fast fashion chains, as well as, you know, chain stores like Walmart. And so that inspired me to do my first bit of activism, which she doesn't want to see my T-shirt, but to create this T-shirt. And it was Spectrum, Ali, Tazreen, and Rana. And those were the last 4 garment factory disasters that happened because of fast fashion. And I started feeling like, from, you know, looking at all these images and writing all these stories and knowing what I knew about, that I had a lot of weight on my shoulders, and I wanted to do something with that weight, and I wanted to prove a point. And I didn't want to have any committee. I didn't want to have anybody tell me what to do. So I decided to create this T-shirt. And people said, and donate the proceeds of this T-shirt to the Clean Clothes Campaign, which is a fantastic group that really gets in there and busts these stores doing bad things, and reports and sends press releases consistently to us. So people said, why don't you just donate money to them? And I said, no, I want to prove a point. So I went to this wonderful company, TS Designs, in North Carolina, my friend Eric Henry, and he uses cotton of the Carolinas. And he, actually I should take this off to show you. So he puts a nutritional label on the back of his shirts, and it shows how far away the cotton was grown, and it's kind of a breakdown of the ethical and environmental standards of his company. People are paid fairly that work there. He supports local commerce, and he gave me a really good deal on these shirts, and I and the printing, which is water-based inks. So, and of course I got a hashtag Stop Fast Fashion at the bottom. So I got some people from the sustainable fashion community to participate and donate as much as they wanted, $10, $20. Somebody donated $200. I needed about $750 to make 50 T-shirts. And they cost me around $9 to make, and then I sold them for $30. And some people I sold them to for $20. And some people I just gave away the T-shirt because I knew they needed to wear it and get the message out. So after doing that, I mean, I got lots of write-ups and lots of online publications, and people like it was either the producer or the director of the Inconvenient Truth had one. There were my mother, who lives on the top of a mountain in Maine. That might be similar to how loud her phone ring is. That's okay. That's okay. It just does. I like the curveballs. Yeah. So I ended up. Lots of people were wearing the shirt, and there's somebody who's here today who covets the shirt. She will not have it. This is the last one. So I ended up making about, $750. I sent it to the Clean Clothes Campaign, who thought I was insane. That, why are you doing this? And I said, I just want to do it because I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the work that you do. And they were like, okay, sure, send the check here, or PayPal. So I did that, and it really got a message out about this. And I was saying this morning, when I first had this, when I wear this shirt, I feel pretty powerful. But I go to my local Stop and Shop on Cape Cod, and like a cashier will say, so what does that mean? And I say, oh, it's the 4 last garment factory disasters where 1,300 people were killed for fast fashion. And she's like, sorry I asked. So this was my first bit of activism, and being an activist on my own, and I was like, this can work. This is pretty cool. And so then I've continued writing about more things like cancer villages in China from industrial pollution. It's a lot of fun. That's very sexy fashion right there. I write about greenwashing a lot. People know how much I love H&M, and their conscious collections and their sustainable reports. And yeah, so in my house we have a lot of writers and activists and teachers and designers that come through and come stay with us. And my family has started to like just tune it out because they can't take it anymore, you know. And I have 2 children. I have a 16-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter, and a husband I've been married to now for 16 years. 16 years, yep. And so they're a little tired of hearing about all this. But after this had happened with the T-shirt, I was even more aware of consuming and my level of consuming, and I decided to really kind of slow down on what I was consuming, and at the same time, I had my biggest challenge in the entire universe. My daughter Sophie, who's 13. She prepares for every holiday that she's going to want something, whether it's she plans 6 months in advance for her birthday, what she wants, Easter, Valentine's Day. I mean, it's made me hate holidays now. But right before the holidays, she decided to create a book of want, a book of the things I want. And it was like a very nice notebook of things she wanted. And I peeked in there one day, and she had scratched out things she wanted for new things she wanted. And there just became pages of things she wanted. I thought, this is the most absurd thing. How can my daughter, who's in this house with these people coming through, and I'm wearing this stupid T-shirt, you know, like, why is she not picking up on this, that this is not okay? And in my world, like, I mean, I grew up very rebellious against everything, and I thought, if I tell her not to do this, that's all she's going to think of. So I go to the mall with her. I go to Forever 21 with her. I have anxiety attacks. I'm smelling the clothes. My eyes water. I'm often taking pictures of the $5.99 jeans and Instagramming it. Like, can you believe this? I'm with my daughter at the mall. Can you believe this? And so that book of want in Bangladesh pushed me to a whole new level where I just thought, I'm going to go bonkers. I'm not going to, as of January 1st, I'm not buying anything. And then, and that was final. I did rush out and buy these shoes secretly just before, and I knew I needed 4 new pairs of underwear. So I got those to get ready. But I've already had to mend socks and tights, and I'm only 3 months in. So at the same time that I've made this declaration of this fashion fast, I ended up meeting this woman in my town, and somebody here in New York said, you know, there's a woman who's making eco-fashion in your town of Mashpee, and she's a tailor too. And I said, you're out of your mind. There's nobody I would know about this person. And she said, no, seriously. So I looked her up, and I saw there was a tailor. And I drove down. I took a shower fast, drove down to her place, pushed open the door, and I said, who the hell are you? Why are you in my town? What are you doing? And so she ended up, we became really fast friends, and she said that she was going to, you know, what she told me about being a tailor, how it had been for her since 1997, that she hadn't been she was making the same amount now as she had in 1997 because of fast fashion. Nobody wants to fix their clothes anymore. Nobody wants to mend them. It's cheaper to buy something new. So the light bulb went off immediately above both of our heads, and we said, we're going to do this thing together, and we're going to call it, ta-da, the Tailor Project, this amazing graphic from my husband, who also designed the shirt. So the Tailor Project kicked off January 1st, and I just thought it was going to be kind of like a small thing, but of course, because I'm I overdo things a bit, I created a timeline for events we'll have on Cape Cod, how we will promote via social media, and all the different, these different things that we're going to do locally. And then I started getting phone calls for interviews, And I started getting, last week we were on Sirius Radio, and it was on the Tailor Project and Fashion Revolution Day, and it was the most widely heard or listened to show that they'd had in a while. We've been asked back, and now they want to collaborate with us. They think this is a fascinating thing that's happening. And I keep scratching my head, like, why do people care about this Tailor Project? I mean, I'm just mending clothes. I'm not buying anything new. It's not rocket science here, you know. I'm just not, and I'm mending. But the outpouring of support has been just fascinating. I love it. I woke up this morning, and there was a new video that had been posted to the Tailor Project page, which I only have on. I have a Tailor Project Facebook page. I don't want to go any further with like Twitter or Instagram. Like, this is all I'm going to do. This. But on the Facebook page, she had posted a video from London of how part one of how she's revamping her jacket into a vest. And I was like, what? Now we're shooting video now. All right. But, you know, some of the things that people have been sending have been, you know, amazing. And this is, Catherine refuses to show her face, but this is Catherine here mending a dress that I should have worn today. But she just shortened it because I got it for $5 at Goodwill, and I liked it. It's comfortable. I didn't like the underneath the sleeves so much. I didn't really like how long it was, so she shortened it, fixed the sleeves, used the textile waist from the bottom, and built out the shoulders. I just got that back. So we're looking at clothes in my closet right now and how we can revamp them and make me like them more. And it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, to utilize your tailor in this way, to really rethink your closet and re-examine what you have. And so there's the one picture you'll see of Catherine, who's amazing, and she's been having a blast. And something I haven't said yet about Catherine is, you know, Catherine's a single mother. She's really passionate about design and likes being a tailor. And since the Tailor Project has kicked off, she has like a rack in her just around the corner from that picture, a rack, and it's the most full it's been since she can remember. People are coming to her. She was asked to design an Oscar dress for a local art gala for the Oscars, and we're doing a pop-up next month, and she created this transparency dress out of recycled plastic. So she's being able to entertain this really creative side of herself and really showcase who she is as a tailor and seamstress and creator. So, so she's doing awesome. She's having a blast. We have a lot of energy. We're both a little neurotic together, which is fun too. And we keep getting these amazing people sending us pictures. We have, you know, this is the Feral Child Designers Studio in Oakland. Gave us that picture of their tailoring studio. This was sent to us from somebody in Malta who was on vacation. It got it into their brains that even on vacation they were thinking about the Tailor Project. This is in the Fashion District here. A little snapshot of somebody doing some work. This woman just sent me this from Toronto, and she brought a whole handful of things in to have mended and redesigned. So she's working with her tailor now in Toronto, which is so cool. This is a good friend of mine in Boston just sent this to me. He is a Boston tailor that he uses who is, you know, mending all his menswear, like all his pants from when he was just maybe a little bit too big or whatever. Now he's wearing his pieces again. This is Eileen Fisher's tailor. And she's beautiful and not basking in her sunlight, but I like that even like Eileen Fisher, you know, like the social media manager of Eileen Fisher is now taking sewing lessons, and she's learning how to make darts and learning how to create her own clothes. But you know, even Eileen Fisher has her own tailor. And I keep getting more and more of those stories of people saying, hey, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to revamp something and send you pictures. And I love it because for me, if I go back up to the cancer villages and the factory collapse and the horrible things that are happening, you know, like this is my way of saying in a quiet way, stop fast fashion. You know, you don't, without saying stop fast fashion, it's just looking at a different way of perceiving fashion and how we consume clothes, and it's, you know, it's not so in your face, and it's a lot more digestible as well for people of all ages, because the idea of fast fashion and considering your clothing, the ethics behind them, and the environmental cost of the clothes that you wear is, you know, puts a lot of guilt on people, and that's the last thing you want, is for people to feel guilt and shame about what they've done. I hope this is the next slide. We even had somebody who sent us $20, no return address, so we couldn't send a thank you or anything, but we were like, you know, do what you want with this $20. So of course I gave that to Catherine, but that was within the first couple of weeks, somebody just thought it was cool to send us that. The night before I came here, my friend Mika, I was staying with her, and she said, the Tailor project's inspired me to start creating again. So she just got a book about smocks, and she's going to start making her own dresses, creating smock dresses that she can wear a number of ways. And the success story so far is my daughter Sophie, who's so excited in that picture. But I ordered her field hockey shirt a little too big, and she was really, really mad at me. She looked worse than that when she pulled the shirt out. And she said, do you think we could take it down to your tailor to have it fixed? And I was like, what? Yes, we can. We can take your shirt to be fixed so you can wear it. And we paid money for it, and you really wanted it, so let's fix it. So she has gotten it back. We have to do an after shot. I didn't have that. She looks a lot happier. And the sleeves aren't long like that, and she likes things a lot tighter than that, so it's cropped and tightened. She fixed it on the side. So far this is my success story. Even the participation worldwide has been wonderful, but getting my daughter to consider reusing what she has is priceless to me. So that's the Tailor project, and I mean, if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. I'm sure I've forgotten to say a million different things that I had in my mind at 5:30 this morning, but if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. No, you can't have my shirt.
So in terms of the people who are selling their parents and details and whatnot, did it start out paragraphically to friends on social media and then gradually just running strangers, or
Yeah, I mean, it started out, I was, saying to my friends, seriously, go around and take pictures. Like, let's kick this off here, and asking and enlisting help. But yeah, and then I suddenly just started having people commenting and sharing pictures. I'm like, who is that? I don't know this person at all. I don't know who. I think her name is Karen Ellis. I don't know who Karen Ellis is. I did say thank you though for the video today. But yeah, so it has become this organic process of people sending in all kinds of different things and writing letters, and there's a big shoot that's happening. I'm sorry, it's A Green Beauty. Mara Schiavetti has a magazine that she puts out, and it's like Vogue. It's beautiful. So she actually had a tailor go and remake lots of beautiful couture designs, and there's a whole story that will be in the Tailor project on that. And I'm sure, I have no idea how this is going to evolve. I'm just sort of going with it. I just wanted to tell a story and make a small point, but it seems like it's really snowballing, and I'm just kind of seeing where it's going. And one of the things I definitely want to say, I will not forget to say this, is that everybody in this room has something they're probably passionate about. You're passionate about something, and if you're not, seriously, you need to be passionate about something. And you don't need a committee, and you don't need a boss, and you don't need a friend, and you don't need a colleague. Like, you can do so much by yourself. And I was even thinking about a woman that was speaking about the food, New York City and the food waste before. It's like, even if it comes down to like composting or recycling, and when people ask me how I started with all this, I started with myself and what I felt comfortable with, and I'm hoping that my kids and my husband understand, and then it goes to my neighbor, and it snowballs in that way, and that you become a role model. And just being a solid role model and walking the talk, that's activism right there. So all of you can do a number of different projects and be, effective with it and inspiring with it. I actually started writing 20 years ago. Yep. I was living out in Portland, Oregon, writing for kind of rag sheets, music reviews, book reviews, anything I could do just to get a story published. And then I had a baby, and I decided to move home to Cape Cod, where I was born and raised. And of course, I knew tons of people in town, so I started writing for the daily paper, and then the local glossy magazine, and then Boston Magazine, Coastal Living magazine. I was writing these great stories about beautiful homes and artists, and everybody wanted to tell me these wonderful stories, and I don't know how it's evolved into this nitty-gritty, dark and dirty world that I'm in, but I mean, I have to accept that that's what the point in my life, where I'm at, and what I have to write about, and that's what I do. But yeah, but 10 years I've been writing about sustainable fashion.
I actually think it's a real skill.
Mm-hmm.
Very few between time to fix those. So I think it's a wonderful project where people from this idea get the idea that, hey, because you look that I've always asked friends, do you know someone?
Yep.
And the people at home, someone at home.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah, I was looking at the history of tailoring last night. I mean, because I put little tidbits of history on the Facebook page, like the history of the sewing machine, the bobbin, thread, just kind of breaking it all down. And the first record of a tailor was in 1297. And people were using bones and all kinds of different things for needles for sewing, and this is not anything new, but it's this trade that's been completely overlooked, but that you can really utilize. Yeah, and one of the things we're doing on Cape Cod this summer is we're having a tailor challenge, so we're going to be revamping a vintage pattern and getting as many tailors on Cape Cod from tip to tip as possible, and then we're going to have a little runway show kind of thing, and let them showcase what they do, and have people, local people then have access to all these tailors that they didn't know about.
I think it's this idea can piggyback into some of the things that have already become popular, like swaps.
Yep.
The vintage place had a tailor attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
People would get more used to it and something up, or then they have something in their closet.
Yep.
Maybe that would be a way to extend this.
Yeah, I've given that idea out before for sure. Like even in different boutiques, if something doesn't fit, if you had somebody there who could just quickly pin it and say, we'll ship this back to you for free, just so that it fits perfectly and as you want it. But absolutely for vintage, one of the things that we've revamped, Catherine and I, was a vintage dress that I'd worn a couple times, and it was gold, and people are going to notice I'm going to wear it again, so I made it into a pencil skirt, and that was cool, like just kind of completely redoing vintage as well. But I hear you on promoting that. I think that should just be a piece of that puzzle too.
Yeah. And actually I've been doing some similar with my mom, so I've just been choosing dresses for my mom, sisters and aunties, and creating a children make them so it's neat. So
Mhm.
this really resonated with this is amazing. I wanted to ask, do you have any advice on how is it
Yeah, I know. If you not like we have, nobody uses phone books anymore, but they used to be the section. I remember it was like the tailors, alterations, seamstresses, but even, I don't know how many people have asked me, do you know of any tailors in New York City? And my immediate answer was actually, no, I don't. I know a lot of, I worked with so many designers over the past 10 years. So I was thinking maybe designers would want to do that. Maybe I could ask one of my friends, to do something like that, but I couldn't find, so I put it out on Twitter. Does anybody know of any tailors in New York City, and I tagged those friends. And all of a sudden I started finding out tailors. And you know, I got 3 tailors in New York City, and hopefully those friends that have asked me are using them because I sent it to them immediately. But I mean, social media is just such a wonderful, I mean, it can be a horrible thing too, but it is a wonderful thing for getting information, and you can ask those questions and maybe tag your friends that might know, and then, you know, you can find anything you want. You could totally find a tailor fast.
Sticker.
What's that?
You need a sticker emoji for tailors.
We're actually going to be doing tattooing. We're going to actually be doing tattooing of the Tailor project. So that's the next step for this, so we can really carry the message. Mm-hmm.
I love that idea, just, you know, our favorite tailors.
Yeah, you should like a
Website.
Don't push me, you guys. I don't want to take this. I mean, I guess I should. I should. You know, I did start thinking about maybe I should have some kind of a. So I have a website which is amydufault.com, and it is just all my stories that I have published in different publications. I just use it as a kind of an extension of my business card, but now I put a new section called the Tailor Project, new page, and I'm writing monthly about how I feel about not being able to buy clothes, and that, you know, that's something I haven't talked about. Is one of the things that I've learned is that I want a lot. I want a lot of clothes. I've thought about buying things and not telling anybody, and I actually felt a physical reaction of wanting to vomit recently in upstate New York in a vintage store where I suddenly found, you know, a whole bunch of dresses I liked and a jacket. I knew I'd wear it forever. You know, it was only my daughter there. She wouldn't say anything. She could keep a secret. She can't. So, and I told this woman, I said, I actually feel ill being in here because this is such a great store. But, so I'm documenting, and she was like, what? But, so I'm documenting those feelings of this kind of psychological need. I'm not any different from my 13-year-old daughter when I want things. I just want sustainably made things. I'm smarter. I don't want fast fashion, but isn't it the same that I just want things when I have a closet full of clothing that I could use? So. Mm-hmm. Yep. Whoa, yeah, yeah. My son is not an aggressive shopper. He's actually a lot like me, where he's like, I don't even need to spend money. I don't even care, you know. And I have gotten both kids to do consignment shopping. We don't do a lot. They don't do a lot of shopping. And if it actually were, I've started talking with my tailor about could we do basics for kids and get local moms to come and place orders for black leggings, t-shirts, tank tops, and just basics for kids, and then they could order, you can make. But no, my son is not an aggressive shopper and absolutely buying something January 1st, 2015. There was a really great necklace I tried on last night at the What I Live By ethical fashion pop-up shop. But maybe, you know, it's like my daughter. Will I have that crossed off and have something new by January 1st? It's, you know, again, I'm not any different than she is. I'm older and I know more about the ethics behind it. But maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be like, yeah. I'm sorry. Did you want? Oh, yeah. That'd be fun. The Tailor Challenge this summer. In August, we're going to have the Tailor Challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. And on April 18th, we're having a pop-up shop in an art gallery, which is a cool little art gallery, and they're looking for interesting events. This is our Earth Month thing, and what we're doing is we're going to tell a story within. So we'll have this big, beautiful recycled plastic couture dress in the window, kind of lit like a piece of art because it's an art gallery, and then we'll have information there on the Tailor project and a list of as many local tailors as possible. But then we're going to have, I co-owned a boutique on Cape Cod, an eco boutique, for a while, and then I became the editor of Eco Salon, which is an online magazine. So I had left being the co-owner of that boutique to do that job. But that boutique is thriving and super creative. So we're going to have the boutique, we're going to have designers, we're going to have consignment, and we're going to have vintage represented. So that kind of rounded idea of what sustainability is in fashion. So, but I mean, so on Facebook it's just the Tailor Project, and I should put something up for events. But right now, if you go on the Facebook page or if you go on my amydufault.com and just click on the Tailor Project, there's not going to be tons of posts on the Tailor Project. Just monthly I'm writing something, but I'll try, maybe at the bottom I could try to put like what events that are coming up. So maybe I'll do an event page.
Your message across to my mom and her business.
I will give you my card, and I can, we could brainstorm a little bit about how to do that. Now you're making me think of, kind of advocates of the Tailor Project or ambassadors of the Tailor Project, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do too with people, getting them to take pictures of tailors in their town or to revamp, kind of being these ambassadors and getting the idea of the tailor kind of brought back into the limelight and spotlight, because they are wonderful people. They're not just, and some tailors are good and some are bad. I actually had these pants, they were a little big around the waist, and I had them fixed by this one tailor who didn't really have a good reputation in our town. That's all I had until meeting Catherine. And when Catherine showed me the job that she'd done, it was such a hack job on these pants, and they were falling apart. And these are Eileen Fisher, like, they're just really well-made pants. They were falling apart because of what the tailor did, not because of what Eileen Fisher did. But she had to fix them, and But so there are good tailors and bad tailors, and that's another thing you have to figure out. But they can do so much for you. I've even got a natural dye pot from mine. I'm like, do you have any natural dye? Like, I started natural dyeing because I work for a natural dyer in Seattle, and so I was like, you can fix things, design things, and give me dye pots. Thank you.
So, good question. Also, I like reading people's mind. I work with international fashion. In Latin America and Africa. But as I really appreciate working with male tailors in Africa, they're very prevalent. I mean, you can find one on every corner. Which sort of made me think, because I also lived in Spain, thought about how easy it was to find a tailor, how often people use tailors, and sort of what this project sort of going viral a little bit and getting really excited about it, and what that indicates about our patterns of consumption here versus in other places. Because I think that Spain is the birthplace of Zara, and yet you still find people really having an appreciation for small businesses, bespoke fashion or something. Why do you, I don't know, what do you think about that?
I mean, I just feel like if I go back well, there's so many answers to that question, but so you're asking about why we value tailors in other countries and not so much in the U.S. I just think we have a lot more money here, and we don't value. We look at waste in a way that we can just waste. It's sort of part of what we do. We just waste. And in other countries, they look at waste as, what can I do with this? Like, I just finished reading a book by Tom Zaki from TerraCycle. He just put out a great book. And he was talking about how, they're recycling baby diapers and cigarette butts and they're working with schools and programs all over the world, like Capri Sun fruit pouches and making bags out of them. And not everybody wants a Capri Sun bag, Not everybody wants to be touting around waste in that way, But if you could make fibers really out of cigarette butts, and if you could be melting down those plastics, I mean, there's off-gassing that's probably going to be coming from those things too. See, there's a lot of pros and cons, but so we have a lot of waste, and we don't look at waste as something that we can reuse. We just think it's going to go in a garbage. But yes, in other countries, like I just wrote an article for The Guardian that's coming out soon on Haiti and upcycling, and I think it's called the Pepe markets. Pepe markets, I think that's how you say it. But they have so much. We export so much textile waste to Haiti. It's become a dumping ground for them, and it's taken away a lot of their cultural identification, their cultural, the way that they like to dress, because they're now wearing all our clothes. And there are people that go in there because we have there's so many great names within all the waste that they have this whole new market where they sell it, and they can have the Pepe market where they're all selling Chanel bags or Ralph Lauren, I don't know, jackets. That was random Ralph Lauren jackets, but there's a whole trade of the tailors in Haiti, which was a thriving business for a long time, probably up until like the late 90s when fast fashion really took hold. That has almost wiped them out. So, when people ask me about companies like H&M, like H&M is opening 350 new stores this year. They opened 374, I think it was, last year, and how that could be sustainable and how much waste that we have from them. And we're just creating so much, so we just have to slow it down. And again, that's that time, that kind of, the Tailor Project, the tailor in your town, fix your clothes, and again, it's like if we think about too much at once, we're not going to accomplish anything. But if you all go into your closets today or tonight and mend something, then you will be an activist. That is now part of the Tailor Project, and I've been told we're done.
I think there's about a 10-15-minute break to get to whichever room you need to be in next.